Yasu Malakido. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Sean Connery. Oh, just when you thought this year couldn't get any worse. Sad to say that Sean Connery has passed away at the age of 90. Sean Connery was awesome. Like, there's just no difficult way to say it. He was just so cool, very suave, very chill, he could do the action thing, he could do the drama thing. You know, it just is this year over yet? Like, honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of this shit. I mean, it's only November. Fuck. Anyways, he was great. It really was. You know, had a hell of a career. And if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Sean Connery. Thanks to good old Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Sir Thomas Sean Connery, born August 25th, 1930, and died October 31st, 2020, was a Scottish actor and producer. He is best known as the first actor to portray the British secret agent James Bond in film, starring in the first 5 films: Dr. No, To You Only Live Twice, plus Diamonds Are Forever, and Never Say Never Again. Connery began acting in a smaller theater and television productions until his breakout role as Bond, although he did not like the off-screen attention the role gave him. The success brought film offers from famed directors such as Alfred Hitchcock, Sidney Lumet, and John Huston for dramatic roles. Those films included Marnie, The Hill, Murder on the Orient Express, The Man Who Would Be King, A Bridge Too Far, Highlander, The Name of the Rose, The Untouchables, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, The Hunt for Red October, Dragonheart, The Rock, and Finding Forrester. Connery retired from acting in 2006, although he briefly came out to provide a voice-over role in 2012. His achievements in film were recognized with an Academy Award, 2 BAFTA Awards, including the BAFTA Fellowship, and 3 Golden Globes, including the Cecil B. DeMille Award and Henrietta Award. In 1987, he was made a Commander of the Order of Arts and Letters in France, and he received the U.S. Kennedy Center Honors Lifetime Achievement Awards in 1999. Connery was knighted in the 2000 New Year Honors for services to film drama. Connery was polled in a 2004 Sunday Herald as the greatest living Scot, and in a 2011 Euro Million survey as Scotland's greatest living national treasure. He was voted by People magazine as both the sexiest man alive in 1989 and the sexiest man of the century in 1999. Long story short, I'm sure he went out with quite a few women and had a great time with it. But at the same time, the guy was a serious actor. He loved acting. I mean, he didn't see himself doing it at first, but he kind of just fell into it. It's amazing how many of these great actors just fall into acting. I mean, it was just meant to be. But the cool style of Connery was always there. I mean, some people just have it. I mean, even the voice, like the voice alone is very distinguished. Well, I'm Sean Connery. Welcome to The Rock. I don't do it as good, I know, but you get the idea. Very distinctive, very masculine, just, you know, it's basically, let's just be honest, guys, it's what Hollywood is lacking today, you know, and it's sad that, you know, we got a couple dudes out there, you know, Tom Hardy and a couple others, whatever, but, you know, there's no one that really just, you know, just takes charge like Connery did, you know what I mean, and it just sucks, that's all. you know, it's been a very shitty year. Let's just be honest. And on top of this, we got Connery leaving us. I almost feel like Michael Manson and Donnie Brasco. He said a great line like, "How could John Wayne die?" I feel the same way. It's like, how could Sean Connery die? I thought this guy was gonna like live forever in his castle and just maybe there's a chance he would come back. Just for a little bit of acting and he can't end on the shitty movie he did. I'll get more into that later. But it just what are you gonna do? That's life. It is what it is. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to read off a couple facts I found about Mr. Connery, and we'll go from there. Sean Connery was actually born Thomas Sean Connery to Effie McBain and Joseph Connery. When he was young, people called him Tommy, and then Big Tam, whatever that means. However, Connery claims he went by his middle name even before becoming an actor. He had an Irish friend named Seamus, and mutual friends of the two would call Connery by his middle name when he and Seamus were together. He's got the same middle name as me, shit. By the time he was 12, Connery was already towering over his peers. And by the time he was 18, he had grown to his full height, a sturdy 6'2" inches. I didn't think he was that tall, I gotta be honest. Yeah, cool. Connery claims he lost his virginity at 14. To be completely honest, guys, I'm surprised it wasn't 7. To a full-grown adult woman wearing a military uniform. In particular, she was wearing an ATS, Auxiliary Territorial Service uniform. Well, that's just awesome. I don't know what else to say there. They say women like a man in uniform, so why can't a man love a woman in uniform? Doesn't matter what age, just, hey, they didn't have internet back then. When he was just a boy, his first job was as a milk delivery man. Through the job, he got to know his hometown of Edinburgh extremely well, as he related in an interview from after he was famous. When I took a taxi during a recent Edinburgh Film Festival, the driver was amazed that I could put a name to every street we passed. How come? He asked. As a boy, I used to deliver milk around here. I said, so what do you do now? That was rather harder to answer. Hands up if you think that Sean Connery, also did his thing while he was delivering milk. Yep, right here. The hand that rocks the bureau drawer. Growing up, Connery's family was extremely poor, although he had said he didn't realize that until much later because everyone else around him was poor too. His parents couldn't afford to buy him a crib as a baby, so he slept in a wardrobe drawer. Wow. Anybody see that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer rented out his drawers? Connery ended up joining the Royal Navy, but was later discharged because of a genetically inherited duodenal ulcer, that is. He suffered from stomach ulcers. The same issue had afflicted generations of his family. Now, for those of you who don't know, ulcer is a discontinuity or break in the bodily membrane that impedes normal function of the affected organ. So yeah, that must have been rough for him. Yeah, unfortunately, when you join like things like the army and stuff like that, I mean, they basically need you in tip-top shape. They don't need you, falling out of nowhere in action. So yeah, that was unfortunate. But again, I'm pretty sure things worked out pretty well. Before leaving the service, Connery gave himself two mementos in the form of tattoos. One says Scotland Forever, and the other says Mum and Dad. Aww. The actor worked many odd jobs when he got out of the army. Two of the oddest being a sometimes nude artist model and a coffin polisher. I wouldn't do two things at the same time, but Connery got into bodybuilding around this time and even entered the Mr. Universe contest. Reports vary on how well he did, while his official website claims he came in third in 1950. How the fuck do they not know? They don't keep records, or? All right. Again, no internet. Other records show him competing in 1953 and coming third in the junior class, or perhaps competing in the tall man class and not placing at all. Whatever Connery says goes. I don't care. Although Connery officially retired in 2006, his last live-action role was back in 2003, where he played Alan Quatermain in The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was his 93rd film. He has since only done a smattering of voice work. Once again, I will get into this tragedy in a little bit. In order to learn some of the suaviness and grace demanded of him in roles like James Bond, Connery refined those hard edges by reading the works of literary greats like Marcel Proust, Leo Tolstoy, James Joyce, and William Shakespeare. Like I said, he was very well trained and he wanted to make sure not to fuck it up. So what do? You go to the greats and you learn from them. It's that simple. Connery is now known primarily for his tenure as James Bond in films like From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, and You Only Live Twice. But he was initially reluctant to star in the Bond movies. Nonetheless, all 7 of his films as the Desponier spy were successful. Holy shit, were they successful. Again, we'll get into that in a little bit. At one point, Connery was pulled over for speeding, and the apprehending officer's name was Sergeant James Bond. Some jokes just write themselves. Fleming ended up so satisfied with Connery's portrayal of Bond that he wrote in a half-Swiss, half-Scottish heritage for Bond in later books. There you go. He was so powerful as the role, they just basically made it even more his. Connery was the first actor to portray James Bond in film. That's right. While at a production party for the film South Pacific in 1954, Connery met fellow legendary actor Michael Caine, and the two would become lifelong close friends. Yeah, I could see that. James Bond might have been his breakthrough role, but Connery soon got tired of the attention the part brought him. As his pal Caine once said, "If you were his friend in these early days, you didn't raise the subject of Bond. He was, and is, much better actor than just playing James Bond. But he became synonymous with Bond. He would be walking down the street and people would say, 'Look, there's James Bond.' That would particularly upset him." Michael Caine, if you ever listen to that one day, I'm really sorry. It sounded better in my head. According to one of his co-stars in the sequel to Highlander, Connery even had a written policy that no one could talk to him about Bond on the set of the film. That's right. Leave the man alone. He doesn't want to hear this shit every time. He doesn't want to hear shaken, not stirred. Bond, James Bond, money, penny, pussy, whatever the fuck. Just let him do his thing. In 1983, Bond film Never Say Never Again. Connery stars as the now aging secret agent. Connery's second wife, Michaeline Rokubrun, I tried, came up with the title of the film, and based off it, of Connery's previous statement that he would never again play Agent 007. Unless the price is right. But we'll get more into that in a little bit. 1987, Connery came under fire for suggesting that there were instances where it was appropriate to hit a woman. As he told Barbara Walters, there are women who take it to the wire. That's what they are looking for. The ultimate confrontation. They want to smack. He had made similar comments previously in 1965 to Playboy. Now, let's just get this out of the way right now, okay? I don't condone that, all right? But I'm just going to say this. I hate Barbara Walters. I've never liked her as an interviewer. I never thought she was anything special, okay? I'm 38 years old. I come from, like a generation afterwards. I get she did a lot of shit, whatever. There's even a rumor that she apparently slept with Richard Pryor. She never brings it up. The point is, I just don't like her. I've seen her walk out of interviews. The one I think she did with Norm Macdonald on The View, whatever. Listen, if you interview somebody, okay, if you want to walk out as the person that's being interviewed, fine, go ahead, be a pussy. But the person that is doing the interviewing, you never walk out. It's like you're part of an army. It's like you're on the battlefield. You don't run away when you see trouble. So I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying I condone what Sean Connery said, okay? But, I love the fact that Barbara Walters tried to call him out on the shit years later. And she's like, yeah, you remember that? Yeah. She's like egging him on, whatever. And then Connery just said, this is where just Connery is just, like his confidence is just, like on 1,000. He's just like, I haven't changed my opinion. And that's it. It just shuts her down right there. And she's trying to sucker him in, and he's sticking to his guns. Is his guns right? No. But, at the same time, he, got her back. So, I don't know. What are you going to say? I don't know. It's kind of funny, like in this age, or even, well, I mean, forget this age. Forget he'd be screwed if he said that. But but even back then, like he said that shit, and like he still got work. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's one woman Connery dated, Julie Hamilton, admitted that she was repulsed by the Scotsman until she saw him wearing a kilt. Whereupon she claimed he was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. Okay, so, you love a woman in uniform. Women love you when you got the kilt on. It's like anything goes. You know what I mean? I hear that there's nothing under there. I had a buddy of mine. I even asked him. I said, are you wearing underwear under there? Is it Fruit of the Loom? Is it Hangs? Like what's going on there? Can you, I've heard things about when people wear the kilt, And he says, well, do you want to see for yourself? I'm like, no. So there you go. In his villa of Kranjedi, Greece, Connery shares a helicopter pad with his neighbor, William Alexander, who just so happens to be the king of the Netherlands. Now, again, we've said this before. Well, I said this before. But first of all, how cool is it that he's got a thing in Greece? I mean, the guy's got, places probably everywhere, but Greece. I mean, forget it. You want to be treated like a god, you get a thing in Greece. Second, like he was such a proud Scotsman, and like literally, he knew royalty. It's just, what more do you want? I mean, this guy had so much power. He's so well respected. Connery is a member of the Scottish National Party and believes in Scottish independence. He has even supported the party financially in the past. There you go. He's just, he loves it. Who wouldn't? I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of that scene? You know what I mean? Just like, like come from a very well-respected heritage, and, he gave back to it. That's awesome. We should all be so lucky. Although he was knighted by the Queen Elizabeth II in July 2000, he had actually been nominated for a knighthood twice before that, in 1997 and 1998. These previous nominations were reportedly shot down because of his political briefs. Well, what are you going to do? First you don't succeed, try again, there you go, She gives, I can't, I don't want to do this. And he's like, yes, you can. And that's it. He's Bond. Come on. Connery's portrayal of James Bond landed him the third spot in the American Film Institute's list of the greatest heroes in cinematic history. No shit. In 1989, at the ripe age of 60, Connery, who is known as the Rogue with a Brogue. The Brogue. Rogue with the Brogue. I like that. Like I said before, he was named People's Magazine Sexiest Man Alive. So at age 60, I've heard a thing where women like older guys. It's more of a, distinguished look maybe. He's got the power, he's got the money. Forget it. He's living the life. Oh, God. That's awesome. Connery has only been nominated for one Oscar, but luckily he only needed the one. His portrayal of Jimmy Malone, the mentor of Prohibition agent Elliot Ness in The Untouchables, earned him the Golden Statue in 1988. That's it. It's just awesome role. I'll get more into that later. One of Connery's most well-known late roles is playing Indy's estranged father, Henry, in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. However, Connery is actually only 12 years older than Indiana's Harrison Ford. I fucking love this movie. I'm going to get more into this later. Can't wait. The scene where Indiana and dear old dad, Henry, are sitting at a table, talking and hiding out in the Zeppelin. Sorry. Led Zeppelin. All right. Anyway, sorry. Sorry. Has a dirty little secret. Neither Ford nor Connery are wearing pants underneath that table. It was so unbearably hot that day on set, and Connery, never one to suffer for his art, took his pants off while shooting. Ford quickly did the same. Listen, you're sitting at a table with James Bond. He takes off his pants, join the party. A popular film theory on the James Bond franchise posts that because of all the different actors who have played 007 James Bond isn't a single person, but rather a codename different MI6 or M16 agents have used at different times. If this theory proves true, it could pave the way for a female James Bond, which apparently I think is going to happen in the next one. The movie's been fucking delayed a year now. I don't know. It's supposed to air April 2020, because of, fucking COVID. Again, it's April 2021. Let's hope. While filming the Bond film Thunderball, Connery had to shoot a scene with live sharks in a pool, understandably wary of the sharp-toothed creatures. The Scot demanded that there be a partition between the sharks and him. The production designer complied, but neglected to inform the actor that the partition didn't fully extend across the area. There was about a 4-foot gap in the paneling. Lo and behold, a shark crept through and Connery made a hasty exit from the pool. I can't believe they'd actually treat Connery like this, but okay. You guys should know better, okay? Shame on you. Although Connery was asked back for the 4th installment of the Indiana Jones franchise, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Connery, some would say wisely, turned down the part. You know, some would say wisely. I would say thank fucking God. Like I said before, this movie was just horrible. Yeah, they, killed him off. You know. Wise move, Mr. Bond. Connery portrayed the King Richard in Kevin Costner's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and was interested in reprising the role for Robin Hood Men in Tights. He even had a pretty specific direction he wanted to take the character. He wanted to play the monarch in drag. Even though Sean Connery in a dress sounds like comedic gold, his salary of $1 million was too much real gold for the production to spend, and Patrick Stewart was cast as Richard instead. Bitte. Maybe I'm losing my sex appeal. When Monty Python alums Terry Gilliam and Michael Palin were writing the film Time Bandits, they described the Agamian character as Sean Connery, or someone of equal but cheaper stature. Lucky for them, Connery was a fan of Monty Python and actually signed up for the role. There you go. Perfect. Highlander, Connery's cult hit about a bunch of immortals trying to chop each other's heads off to claim glory and power, was actually first written as college student Gregory Whitten's senior thesis. I know nothing about this movie. I will not talk about it more in a bit. Parks and Recreation star Nick Offerman is a huge fan of Highlander and claims that it was, and still is, the greatest movie about becoming a man that I've ever seen. Once again, Nick Offerman, I love you. If you ever see me one day, please don't kick my ass. I try my best. I mean, this cold weather, it's been a weird year. Just forgive me. Yeah, that's I wouldn't disagree with that, because like I said, I've never seen the movie. Connery only spent a measly 7 days on the set of Highlander. He was very particular about the critical of the production and would often get the crew together to discuss where he felt they were failing. According to the director, Russell McKay, he can't stand inefficiency of any kind. He would group us together and air his views on why so wasn't doing his job correctly. This was free advice, very expensive, I might add, that none of us needed. Like I said, I've never seen this movie. I don't have any desire to see this movie. I'll get into that again very little in a bit. In 2002, he told ABC News that his favorite Bond movie film was From Russia with Love. Can't say I disagree. Although he was known as an overgrown stuntman. That is a quote from Ian Fleming, I do believe, the author of the actual James Bond novels. Also wasn't sold on Connery portraying his fictional character initially. As Fleming said at the time, he's not what I envisioned of James Bond looks. I'm looking for Commander Bond and not an overgrown stuntman. Going on to call Connery unrefined. I mean, look, when you make these movies, sometimes it works out the complete opposite. Someone that you're thinking that, okay, I envision to play the role, then the opposite works. Again, I think things worked out. Connery has said that he was offered to play a role in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. CNN revealed that this role was Gandalf, but he turned it down because he said he didn't understand the script. Okay, so from the information I gathered, okay, this could be off a couple percent, money, I don't know, whatever. But all I'm going to say is this. yeah, he was offered this role. He read the script. He had no idea what the fuck this was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen all three movies. I still don't get it either. I don't know. They explained it well in Clerks 2, whatever. But anyways, yeah. So at one point, they offered him a certain salary, whatever that was. Then they offered him a certain amount of points. Now, I don't know if it was before gross, after gross, whatever, but they said a combination of all three movies, it would have been close to, are you ready? $500 million. Okay, let me repeat that. Because he didn't understand what the script said, he lost out on $500 million. Give or take. Maybe half a couple mil. I mean, who knows? But holy fucking shit. I mean, damn. You couldn't hire someone to just explain it to you. It's about a couple little guys looking for a ring, and then you play the big guy, and you face off against some shit, then you got a stick in your hand. You shall not pass. It looks pretty straightforward to me. I don't know. I mean, holy fuck. Anyways. The Scots James Bond seems naturally suave and debonair, but in truth, Connery got by with a little help from a toupee. The actor started balding when he was only 21 and wears a hairpiece throughout all of his Bond films. Now, I gotta be honest with you, at one point, we all know who's wearing a toupee, whatever. Many of actors have done it. I didn't think it was that early. I've seen some cases where, some dudes even go bald in their like late teens, whatever. It just happens, man. I shouldn't laugh. I don't know. Every time I look in the mirror, I miss bowling. But yeah, it is what it is. Again, he's James Bond. He can do what he wants. It doesn't matter. One time, when he was just starting out in acting, a notorious Scottish gang targeted Connery and followed him out to a balcony. There, all casual-like, Connery single-handedly fought 6 gang members, taking on one by the throat, another by the bicep, and cracking their heads together. The gang respected him after that, and word got around that Connery was a hard man. Again, some jokes just write themselves. I kid you not. This is all true and not the plot of a James Bond film. I believe it. I really believe it. It's Connery. He's a tough motherfucker. This is not an urban legend. This is Connery. Accepted. In 2011, Kane confirmed that Connery would never star in another film, and has said previously that his friend didn't want to play small parts about old men and weren't offering him any young parts in romantic leads. No surprise, It gets to a certain point where, you're an actor and, you know what you want to do, and, I'm sure Connery, on top of that, the whole Lord of the Rings fuck up there. I'm sure he could have appeared in a lot of other shit, just do cameos, a meal here, a meal there, or probably a lot more. I even heard a rumor at one point that they wanted him for Jurassic Park to play the professor. And then the main guy there, he would have been played by Harrison Ford, so... whatever. Years later, they would have connected again, him and Harrison Ford. But, things just happen the way they do. Okay? Sean Connery's done enough films to prove his point, and films and TV and all that shit. It gets to a certain point in someone's life where it's like, yeah, you know what? Enough's enough. I know what I want to do, and if I don't get it, I'm just going to relax. So if you don't mind, I'd like to sit back and relax and share with you guys every single Sean Connery role that he has done. This is according to IMDb, of course. Like I said before, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes because Rotten Tomatoes gives very weird percentages on films. You know who you are. And let's do it. So the very first thing that Sean Connery did is a movie in 1954 called Let's Make Up. And he played an extra in the crowd scene. There you go. That happens with a lot of actors. Like I said before in the Verdict with Paul Newman. I think in the background, who is it? I think it's Kevin Costner is one of the he's one of the jurors or one of the people in the background. It happens, whatever, you know. It doesn't matter. Who cares? You got to start out somewhere. You know, you're on set for whatever, 12, 13 hours as an extra. You build up experience. There you go. And you might learn something too. Then he was in something called Simon. It was a short. Played a policeman. Then it seemed like he did a lot of TV here. He did Dixon of Dock Green, The Condemned, Sailor of Fortune, the Jack Benny program. Very funny guy. Didn't know he was in that. No Road Back, Blood Money, BBC Sunday Night Theater, of course. Hell Drivers. Action of the Tiger, Time Lock, ITV Television Playhouse, Another Time, Another Place. Lana Turner, Barry Sullivan. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at the movie poster. I mean, I'm sorry, I mean a sidetrack or nothing, but remember when movie posters used to look like really good? You know, they had the drawings and shit. I mean, you know, like it was really, I don't know, it was just good. I'm sorry. You know, and look at Connery, young Connery. He's got the slick black hair. You know, that's awesome. Women in Love, TV movie he did. Armchair Theater, another TV series. The Magical World of Disney. Yeah. That was, I wouldn't say Disney in their prime. I mean, Disney, you know, was always making money. But, yeah, you know, the chance to work with Disney, why not? Darby O'Gill and the Little People. Tarzan's Greatest Adventure. BBC Sunday Night Play, again. Riders to the Sea. An Age of Kings. This is based on, looks like Shakespeare, of course. You know. Very well trained actor, and when you are, you most of the times do Shakespeare. Also, keep in mind at this point, I was born in 1982, so we're about 1960 here. I haven't seen any of these, so please forgive me. Without the Grail, ITV Play of the Week, Macbeth, of course, Adventure Story, The Frightened City, Operation Snafu. Always like that word. Anna Karenina. The Longest Day, and that was 1962. You know what also happened in 1962, ladies and gentlemen? We were introduced to James Bond. So Sean Connery, I'm just going to say this right now. I'm just going to end all whatever. Sean Connery is the best James Bond of all time, okay? I know a lot of people out there like Daniel Craig. I would even debate with people who's the second, either Daniel Craig or Pierce Brosnan. Okay, but that's a discussion for another time. Maybe now. Sure. Connery's the best Bond. He just has it. Like I said before, Ian wasn't a big fan of him, you know, at first, you know, but got to, you know, love him later on. He's just awesome. Like, he just fits the bill perfectly, you know, when he's first introduced, you know. Bond. James Bond. Very casual, very chill, smoking a cigarette, just, you know. James Bond, if you don't know by this point of your lives, first of all, shame on you. I'm kind of dating myself here, but at this point in my life, you know, we can watch movies whenever we want, on demand, Netflix, whatever. Back then, we didn't have that shit. A lot of times, we didn't feel like spending money for DVDs or VHSs, whatever. And TBS, which was, I mean, now it's called, I think, Peachtree TV. They used to have the James Bond marathon, and they would play every single movie. And it was awesome. I think they would do it like every year. So, and yeah, you know, this is pretty much where I discovered James Bond. And he's awesome. He's basically every what every guy wants to be. A secret agent who goes on these missions, has sex with numerous amounts of women. Just fighting off bad guys, being the hero, driving in kick-ass cars, cool gadgets. I mean, it's just it's the movie that started it all. It started the whole 007 franchise. And when they wrote the book, a lot of people say it was based on certain things that did happen, just experiences that that he had and that he learned about, and that's why this movie kicks ass. One of my favorite James Bond movies of all time. Period. Period. It is a awesome movie. If you've never seen this movie, again, shame on you. I don't know what your problem is. Go see it right now. Then From Russia with Love came out in 1963. Now, he said that this was his best Bond that he ever did. Again, great movie. Like I guess I'm kind of biased at this point or whatever. I mean, I love all the James Bond movies. I mean, they're awesome. I mean, should have mentioned this before. The song, that's the theme from Dr. No, but then later on, the classic when, James Bond is like walking up and then he shoots the target and it goes bloody, gets a little wavy, whatever. So that becomes like that song for the beginning of the movie. And then, they have other songs. There's always that one iconic song, So From Russia with Love, I can't sing. I sort of can, but, I'm no Michael Bublé. All I'm saying is, great movie. Loved it. If you like Dr. No, you will love From Russia with Love. Then he did a movie called Woman of Straw, which I've never seen. It's got a pretty good rating. Looks all right, actually. I'm going to have to check this one out. Then he did a movie called Marnie. Now, we all know a man by the name of Alfred Hitchcock, who has created some of the best movies of all time. And, of course, you get one of the best actors of all time. It's an awesome movie. In most Sean Connery movies, he has it pretty easy with women. This one he does not. And it says here, Mark marries Marnie, although she is a habitual thief and has serious psychological problems, and tries to help her confront and resolve them. Okay, so picture that. You got the suave of Sean Connery, and you got the crazy mind of Alfred Hitchcock. How can this not be a good movie? Guess what? It is. Then, the same year, he came out with Goldfinger. One of my favorites. Love this movie. This year, James Bond uncovers a plot to contaminate the Fort Knox Gold Reserve. I love gold. Now, obviously, Mike Myers was inspired just a little bit by James Bond, of course. I mean, we all know that. But this is how much power this franchise has. And it's, obviously helped out a lot of other franchises. They've done the whole one-liners and secret spy shit. Where do you think it comes from, guys? It comes from these movies. Now, what I love about this movie is the bad guy. I think, again, you start to see a trend with these movies. It's not only about Sean Connery being the best Bond of all time, but it's about the bad guys as well. The bad guys have to be iconic. And this one I love because, I don't know, like to me in my generation, it reminds me a lot of Rob Ford, And he's just on the table. He's strapped down there. The laser's about to cut off Mr. Connery's Connery, and no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. I have more than enough to eat at home. Thank you. Okay, he didn't say that last part, but this movie kicks ass. I mean, these movies just seem to be getting at this point better and better and better. Like I said, you like the first two, you're gonna love this one. And the Bond girls, oh, Madonna mia. What's her name again? Pussy galore? Yes, pussy for everyone. Then he did a movie called The Hill. I don't think I've ever seen this one, and it has a hell of a rating. Holy shit. 7.9 out of 10. Which is pretty good. I don't know if I've said this before, but my opinion, for the most part, if you see a movie that's 8 out of 10 on IMDb, it's definitely worth checking out. In North African military prison during World War II, 5 new prisoners struggle to survive in the face of brutal punishment and sadistic guards. Well, it's the classic, the inmate does not get along with the guard. And who do they think they're fucking with? Sean Connery. I've never even seen this movie. I know he doesn't fuck around. You can tell by the picture they put up there. I'm going to definitely check this one out one day, for sure. For sure. And of course, he goes back to playing James Bond in the 1965 classic Thunderball. And again, what do I have to say? I mean, again, guys, keep in mind, this isn't a James Bond podcast. It's about Sean Connery. So there's a lot to go through. You know, that's why I'm not going into deep information about these movies. Although that, and I don't want to give a lot away. And again, it's a great movie. You know, you like the first 3, you're going to like this one. It's not as good as the last one. I'll give you that, but it's still a pretty good movie. And I will also say that at the end, there's an excellent underwater fight scene. It's great. A lot of people are in it. I mean, for its time, I thought it was done pretty well. That to me is the highlight of this movie for sure. So again, watch 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Bond movies. Is there more? Of course. But first, he did a thing called Un Monde Nouveau. He played himself. He was uncredited. All right. He did a movie called A Fine Madness. And then back to Bond again. You only live twice. So far, he's lived 5 times. But yeah, again, great movie. You know, I know it sounds like you're probably getting sick of me saying that, but again, it's a good movie. Okay, I still feel that the third one was the best one. Okay, but Goldfinger, by the way. But at the same time, you know, still, I'm a big fan of Bond. You know, it's like if you're a fan of the Rocky franchise. You know, okay, there's some shitty ones, we all know that, but you know, for the most part, it's pretty good. So, 5 Bond movies. Will he come back for another one? To be continued. Then he did a short variety club of Great Britain Challenge match. It's a little bit of a short. Shalako. I've never heard of this movie. Don't know much about it. Didn't get the best rating. It looks like some kind of, might be a Western or something. I don't know. Yeah. So, you know. The Male of the Species, that was a TV movie he did. ITV Sunday Night Theater, you know, still keeping to his theater roots. Nothing wrong with that. Now, so around this time, they make another Bond movie, and Bond at this point, he's a well-known name in the whole Hollywood world. People, they love the franchise. They want to keep it going. Sean Connery didn't want to do it anymore. As far as I know, he wanted to do the 5 movies, and that's it. He was sick of it. Like I said before, he was on the street, people were yelling his name. He just didn't want to be known just for that. So then he let some other person do it. The movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I don't know the guy's name. I don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. No disrespect to that dude. Apparently, if you read about this guy's time during that movie, he had a great time doing it. Again, who wouldn't enjoy being James Bond? But again, it wasn't the same without Connery. Let's just be honest, guys. It was not the same. Okay? So, yeah. And a lot of people thought the same way. And, the way that even that movie ended was not Bond at all, man. I mean, what the fuck happened? I mean, did you forget with the essence of Bond? Like, it just... Anyways, He did a movie called The Red Tent. Then he did a movie called The Molly Maguires. The Anderson Tapes, which is a very good movie. I had the chance to see this one. I liked it a lot. Yeah, definitely check it out. Decent little rating on IMDb too. Okay, so same year, 1971. They're like, you know what, Connery, we need you, man. We need you back, you know. And of course, you know, he decided to come back, and he says, you know what, I'm going to come back for one more, and it's going to cost you. Now, I there's rumors about how much he actually got. It was a shit ton of money, just to come back for one more movie, or so they thought. But yes, Diamonds Are Forever. A lot of people think Kanye West did this song. No, he didn't. But someone else made it way before him. Yeah, like I said, great movie. You know, I love the Bond movies. Again, I don't want to give a lot away because, you know, just keep in mind you're going to see some action. You're going to see him hit on women with the weirdest fucking names, names that they wouldn't use in porn. But they're very entertaining. Very entertaining. And nobody plays a better Bond than Sean Connery. Okay? I want that written on my tombstone. You know, Michael, rest in peace. Sean Connery, there is no better. Nobody does it better. That song was also a Bond song later on. Anyways, but yeah, great movie. I love it. Check it out. And he did a movie called The Offense. I did another movie called Zardos. I gotta see what this movie's. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Okay. So remember when I said before he wanted to be in Robin Hood Men Tights there and do a whole drag queen there? Judging by the poster, I'm pretty sure this is the closest you're probably going to get to it. Yeah, wow, what is this movie about? In the distant future, a savage trained only to kill finds a way into the community of bored immortals that alone preserve humanity's achievements. Okay. Wow. Look, you know, when you're an actor, you try different things. If it doesn't work, you know, whatever, you know, it's cool. Murder on the Orient Express. Obviously, they remade this one recently, a couple of years ago. I didn't think it was anything special. I love the original better. I'm just being honest. The Terrorists, another movie I never saw. You know, if you look at it from a distance, he kind of looks like Burt Reynolds a little bit, because the way they did the animation. Other than that, never saw it. The Wind and the Lion, another movie he did. The Man Who Would Be King. You know, like I said before, good movie. Like I mentioned before, he would meet kings, so why not play a man who would be king? Works out perfect. I did another movie called Robin and Marion. Guess what this is about? I never saw this one. Audrey Hepburn. I mean, how many? I mean, do you think it's like it's got to be between him and Will Chamberlain? Who? Okay, whatever. The Next Man. I did not see this one. Circassia. It's a short he did. He played a clown. A Bridge Too Far. Yeah, very good movie. I remember seeing this one, you know, a little bit long, not going to lie. You know, but then again, I'm used to Martin Scorsese movies, so it's cool. Great cast of people. You know, works with his buddy Michael Caine here. Got the chance. Got 3 Hours to Kill. Check it out. Great train robbery. Another great movie. Check that one out. Meteor. I didn't see that. Cuba. Didn't see that. Outland. Didn't see that. Time Bandits. I did hear about this one. I never saw it. I think I saw bits and parts of it. If you could believe it, Terry Gilliam, who obviously is known for Breaking Bad, uh, co-wrote this one. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I remember a little bit of it. Yeah, I remember the whole ship thing and all that. Yeah. Um, Again, I'm not really into a lot of fantasy and things with stars and robots, but whatever. I mean, it was a decent little movie. I liked it. Uh, Wrong is right. Um, did not see this one. The movie poster has me intrigued by itself. You got Sean Connery, who seems to be like a reporter, and then in the background, there's a huge explosion, and he just has his arms up, like, whatever, it's cool. Someone will fix it, I'm gonna be honest with you. All the women that Sean Connery had, I don't know has he the energy to stand up, but whatever. 5 days, one summer. Okay. Did not see this one. Did not see it. I'm sorry. Never Say Never Again. Never, never, never say never again. Okay, so this is a weird one because it's not. It's taken from the idea from some of the books. This is technically another Bond film. Again, God only knows how much they had to pay him to do this one. He said he would never do another film again. Little thing called a paycheck. But anyways, yeah. So if I guess the money was right again in 1983. So yeah, good little movie. I liked it. Like I said, I like all the Bond movies. How many fucking times I gotta say this? I love all these movies. Okay. That's it. They're all good, I like the part where they're playing the computer games and all that. And I don't know. I look at this movie now, and you see all the arcades, and you're like, "What the fuck happened to arcades, man?" And fuck it. What are you gonna do? Anyways, good movie. Check it out. And he did something called The Sword of Valiant, The Legend of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Never saw it. Highlander. Okay. Now, I guess I'm sort of a nerd, but I'm not this type of nerd. I can't get into these movies. I'm sorry. But apparently a lot of people like this movie. It's a cult classic, It's him and Christopher Lambert, who I will always love for Mortal Kombat. Thank you for bringing comedy to Lord Raiden. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never saw it, so I don't know what to tell you. But like I said, it's got a big following, and there you go. The Name of the Rose. He was in that one. Then 1987 comes, and he comes out with a kick-ass movie called The Untouchables. This is a fucking awesome movie. Yeah, 7.9. Like I always hate when they give movies 7.9. Like just give it an 8. Who cares? I mean, fuck. I mean that 1 point, But anyways, this is an excellent movie. It says here, during the era of Prohibition in the United States, federal agent Elliot Ness, which is played by Kevin Costner, sets out to stop ruthless Chicago gangster Al Capone, which is played by Robert De Niro. Originally, they didn't want Robert De Niro. They wanted Bob Hoskins. Rest in peace. He was obviously in the classic Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And this is just an excellent movie. You got Charles Martin Smith, Andy Garcia. This movie's awesome. Like it really is. Sorry, like I was saying before. Because of the rampant corruption, assembles a small, hand-picked team to help him. Awesome movie. It just, it's one of those movies I don't want to say a lot because you've never seen it before. You should watch it. You'll be blown away. The one scene, just a little bit of a spoiler. There's like a great shootout scene where like the baby stroller. It's reminiscent to like another movie. I forgot that was way back in the day. It borrows a lot from different things. This movie, it's just phenomenal. I mean, you got Brian De Palma. Like, what more do you want? Enough said. Like, look up this guy. I recently just saw a documentary where he was just speaking in front of the camera and they were reviewing all his movies. This guy's a god by himself. But Yeah, just a phenomenal movie. And Sean Connery ended up winning Best Supporting Actor for it. Very well deserved. So, got a chance? Check out this movie. The Presidio. Never saw this one. Memories of Me. Never saw this one. Here we go. Here we go. That's my shit. That's my hoo-hoo. 1989. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Okay, you got the first two Indiana Joneses. The first one is a classic. The second one, it's okay. It has its moments, But let's be honest. In my opinion, and a lot of people will disagree with me, I say that the third one is best out of the four. Okay, I'm really trying to forget that they did make four, and Connery did turn that down. Like I said, very wise choice, sir. But I mean, growing up, I honestly, I was watching this movie, and the chemistry was just so good between him and Harrison Ford. You really believe that he is Indiana Jones's father, Professor Henry Jones. And again, this, in my opinion, it's the best Indiana Jones. I said that before, and God damn it, I'm going to say it again. That's blasphemy. Now, whenever you have the chance, see these movies, okay? Preferably 1 and 3. But it goes back in time a little bit in the beginning. It shows a young Indiana Jones, played by River Phoenix, rest in peace. And even right there, you see, actually no, you don't even see him. You hear the voice, and then later on, you see Sean Connery, and I just can't say enough good things about this movie. I really haven't said really anything because, again, I don't want to ruin it for you. I really don't. But it is an excellent movie. Excellent. You got Steven Spielberg directing it. What more do you want? You got Lucas, behind the writers. He said the whole story here. It's just fucking awesome. And the whole point is they're trying to find the Holy Grail. Does it exist? Who knows? I'm not going to tell you. You got to watch it for yourself. But this movie is excellent. One of my favorite movies of all time, period. And one of my favorite roles that Sean Connery ever did. Family Business. I don't know this movie. Dustin Hoffman, Matthew Broderick. I don't know. I mean, Sean Connery's the only one sitting in the movie poster, so I don't know. The Hunt for Red October, great movie, classic. The whole submarine thing, I love it. The whole back and forth him and Connery did with Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, again, one of my favorites. You have two, let's just be honest at this point. Sean Connery, badass. Alec Baldwin, badass. So who doesn't want to see a movie where these two guys go back and forth? Okay? It doesn't get any better than this. Again, I always feel, in many ways, Hollywood has lost its balls the last, let's just say 20 years, and these two guys, I mean, they showed how it was done on screen, two excellent actors. Love these guys. Definitely check out this movie. The Russia House. It's about a Russian house, I guess. I don't know. What does it say here? Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. I didn't get the best rating, but hey, any excuse to work with Michelle Pfeiffer, awesome. Highlander 2, The Quickening. I didn't see the first one. I'm not going to see the second one. The thing I hear most about this movie is the actual title, Highlander 2, The Quickening. So I don't know. Was the movie shorter? I don't know. I don't really care. I got to be honest. I'll just say this: Die Hard 2, Die Harder is still the best sequel title of all time. The Quickening, not even close. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. He played King Richard. He's uncredited, but at the end there, it's Sean Connery. Who else are you going to get to play King Richard, if not for a few minutes? Medicine Man. He plays Dr. Robert Campbell. I remember this movie, yeah, simply because he had a ponytail. You never really saw... Well, I guess he did before, but I don't know. This one, he wasn't like a superhero type or holding a sword or whatever. I don't know. I never saw that one. Rising Sun. Oh yeah, the movie he did with Wesley Snipes. That's right. This was okay. I mean, you got Harvey Keitel in there. It was okay. It wasn't anything special. I was expecting a little bit more action. But it's cool to see Connery with Snipes. So that's all right. A Good Man in Africa. It did not get a good rating. Yeah, I have no idea what this movie's about. I don't know. It's him, the cast, some elephants. I don't know. Just Cause. This movie sounds and looks familiar. I sort of remember this movie, but not really. Like, it's one of the movies in the '90s. You watch it. It's not bad. It's not good. It's kind of like in the middle. It's okay. It's one of those movies to pass by a Sunday, I guess, or something like that. It was okay. It was all right. First Night, spelled with a K. Yeah, I remember this movie. This was not good. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was not feeling this one. This one I do remember. Yeah, it was not. Gary Zucker, dude, I love you, man. You're cool. But yeah, this one, I don't know. I see a trend like over the years, when they try to do medieval movies, and it's just, I don't know, like it's one of those things that's just being so done to death. Like it's just you can't. I don't know. It's just too much. I don't know. Dragon Heart. I remember seeing this movie in the drive-in. He actually did a voiceover for this movie, playing the dragon. Yeah, it was all right actually. It wasn't, it wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't anything like whatever, but it was, it was all right. Now, in the same year, 1996, he plays a little character called John Patrick Mason. But we all just know him as Mason. We don't know the first two names. We don't give a shit. Okay? It's Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage, Ed Harris, directed by Michael Bay. It's got to be my favorite, by far, Michael Bay directed movie. For this, I will always love Michael Bay. You can always say whatever you want about him, the whole Transformer movies, whatever, killing off the turtles and all that shit. I don't know, whatever, Orange Crush. I don't know. I'm just saying, this movie, I will always love Michael Bay for. And teaming up, Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery together to face off against Ed Harris. The whole point of this is they take over Alcatraz, which is now a tourism spot, and they plan on bombing the city there with these little green liquid chemicals, which it's the worst kind of shit that could happen. And it's just, you got Nicolas Cage being all cagey, you got Connery, with the long hair, then he cuts it, but he's still fucking cool. He doesn't know about grunge. He just wants another chance at life, because they put him in prison for like 30 years or some shit. This movie is fucking awesome. This is a classic, like 1990s action movie. One of the best action movies, I would say, of all time. If not for sure the 90s. I mean, it definitely was a highlight, during the whole 90s, of all the, action stars, like Sly and Arnold, going at it. And here comes this movie, I never, if you think of it now, whatever, almost like 25 years later, Connery and Cage teaming up for a movie. You'd think that happened, really? But yeah, it fucking happened, man. And it kicked ass. Okay? So, as you can tell already, you have to see this movie. It is fucking awesome. Okay? I've already said a lot of the one-liners. Personally, I think you're a fucking idiot. That's the last one, I swear, in the past or in present, whatever. I'm just excited because this movie gets you hyped. It really does. It is really a cool movie, man. You got to see this movie. If you're a fan of action movies, you got to see The Rock. Now, if you're a fan of action movies, I would not see The Avengers, which is his next movie. I remember seeing this movie in theaters. This movie, I'm sorry, basically had no plot. Wow, 3.8 out of 10. Okay, I don't know if it's that bad. I mean, I only saw it once in theaters. I just remember it was not good. It just, yeah. I don't want to beat a dead horse. You know, it is what it is. And he did a movie, Playing by Heart. Um, oh yeah, I remember this movie. See, you know what I remember most about this movie is, yeah, well, yeah, you know, Connery is hitting on someone his age, which I've never ever seen before. You know, yeah, it's like different segments, it's different people in love and all that. It's one of those movies. It's not bad actually. It's okay. Yeah, I totally forgot he was in this one. I remember more the Angelina Jolie with what's his name there? The guy from the what do you call it? Shit, I forgot his name. He was with Reese Witherspoon for a while. The Cruel Intentions there, and what do you call it there? He's not even listed in the credits here, which is weird. Ryan Felipe, there you go. Okay. All right. Okay, I ate up enough time there. Yeah. So, a little cute movie. You know, it's no James Bond, but I'm just, I'm just saying. You know, just saying. And yeah, Connery kept going. I mean, keep in mind, this is like the late 1990s. The guy started off in like the late 50s, like 40 years so far. Okay, still going. And he still shows that in 1999, he still got it. He still got, the action moves. A little movie called Entrapment. Now, this is a little cool movie. Actually, no, the budget had to be way bigger than little. Yeah, Catherine Zeta-Jones was looking awesome, like she always does. They become, like jewel thieves, whatever, and they team up. And he's kind of like the older school. He's teaching her, like how it's done and all that. And as far as we know, at this point, Sean Connery is never shy in front of beautiful women. He knows what to do. That's it. Just check it out. Great scenes, cool action, lasers. Anyways, Finding Forrester. Okay, great movie. It's about a kid who, finds a mentor in Sean Connery. And it's great. I mean, Sean Connery is just basically, just living in, I don't know, he's basically living like all of us now. I mean, like in quarantine, just, he can't go anywhere, but he slowly leaves the house and the kid encourages him and, you're the man now, dog. And once again, on behalf of white people, I'm really sorry about that. But Rob Brown, he was excellent in this too. I even heard a rumor at one point that he was very close to being nominated for Best Actor for this role. Like he just missed out on it. He was great. Even Busta Rhymes is in it. Love Busta. Great new album, by the way. Extinction Level Event Part 2. Yeah, great movie. Check it out. Now, Sean Connery has lived quite a lifetime of doing movies, almost pretty much half a century. The last movie he did was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I gotta be honest, I saw this movie. It was absolutely horrible. I don't know what it is about this movie. There's not much of a plot. Everything fell flat. It was not a good movie at all. And you think a movie with this much like superhero potential, it could have been really something good, but I feel like they didn't put anything into this shit. And it sucked. And I've always had this theory, when you're a very good actor, when the very last movie you do is a piece of shit. Ask Gene Hackman when he did Welcome to Mooseport. So, yeah, that's pretty much all he did. He did Freedom, A History of U.S., TV series documentary there. Owned his voice again for Russia with Love, video game, obviously James Bond. Modern Greek, CP Kavefi. He was the narrator. I'll check that out. And Yeah, he the last thing he did was in 2012, Sir Billy, which what in the fuck is this? Uh, wow, this, yeah, the animation looks pretty brutal, man. It almost like remember the graphics from like the very first PlayStation? That's basically what it looks like. 3.5 out of 10. A retired veterinarian living in a remote Scottish village. He's already typecast. Encounters a goat who thinks he's a dog, an admiral who's afraid of the water, and a beaver who was raised by rabbits. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Sometimes you just do things, out of boredom. You try new things, it doesn't always work. Worst case scenario, if you're an actor, you do a cartoon, you get a quick paycheck. Yeah, and that's the last thing he did in 2012. That's 8 years ago. But yeah, what can I say? He has lived a hell of a career, and 90 years old is nothing to laugh at. I think they're still trying to figure out what did he die of. But yeah, I'm gonna hope Sean Connery died, like, you know, during sex. I'm just saying. I don't mean to be disrespectful or nothing. I'm just saying, like, how cool would that be? Honestly, I mean, like, I heard he passed away in the Bahamas. Like, again, living the life. Oh my God, fuck. Oh jeez. What more do you want? You got the fame, you got the money. You chill in the Bahamas. Oh my God. What more do you want in life? I mean, he lived it. I mean, he was such a powerful figure, and like I said before, he was a very strong individual who did not care about what anybody thought of him, and you know, people still love to do that impersonation. Yeah, like so much that for years on Saturday Night Live, Daryl Hammond did Sean Connery on Celebrity Jeopardy. I'll take the penis mightier. That is the pen is mightier, Mr. Connery. He also taught me that Jehovah starts with an I. I would have never guessed that. Also, he had a chance to play many roles in his life, like I said, but a lot of times he didn't want to. He just wanted to enjoy life. He even had the chance to play Raiden in the Mortal Kombat movie, and he said, I'd rather play golf. Can't imagine that, a Scotsman who would like to play golf. But again, he had nothing else to prove. You get to a point in your life where you're like, you know what, I've done everything I can, done all this, done all that. Let me just retire. And that's what he did. He enjoyed his life. He didn't work the day he died. He just enjoyed it. Which in times like this, we should all sit back and maybe take a lesson from Mr. Connery. And don't be afraid of who you are. And sometimes in life you plan to be something and you just fall into something else. And it seems to work out. Definitely worked out for him. So I just want to say thank you very much, Mr. Connery, for all the years of entertainment, and once again for being the best James Bond of all time. Yes, I will argue that with anybody, okay? Come at me, I don't care. But again, the guy's got balls of steel, which again is something that we're lacking in today's world. Speaking your mind, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What are you gonna do? He lived his life the way he wanted it, and we should all be so lucky. So thank you very much, Mr. Sean Connery. And once again, don't call me Junior. Once again, thank you very much. And may all your martinis in heaven be shaken, not stirred. Rest in peace, Sean Connery.